Good afternoon, everyone. Today is the World Environment Day, and the celebration is now completing 50 years. And every year they have a new theme, and this year the theme is beat plastic waste pollution. Right? So we will discuss like what kind of challenges we are facing and how to solve this problem. uh, how do we really manage this plastic? And now plastic has come into the food chain, and that's why microplastic has become a health hazard. Then plastics are there in the ocean, plastics are there in the land, and many animals are eating the plastic and they are also dying. And so it is causing all kind of pollution. And but we can't also avoid the use of plastic, right? Because a single-use plastic is probably definitely bad, but we cannot actually get rid of plastic. Multi-use or reusable plastics, uh, you know, probably are useful. And so again, in terms of another article, how the plastic has evolved, the production has increased. The story of plastic comes in the latter part of this the 20th century. The production was very minimum up to, if you see, around Second World War. The production is very minimum, like telephone production, or some equipments were used where we use plastic. But then the polythene comes quite late. Actually. I think somewhere 1970s, and after the plastic, this polythene comes. So polythene use is probably the most dangerous one, and Government of India has used banned actually, in fact, the single-use plastics, but it is not actually effective. It is available everywhere. And although in between we see that Government of India, some local administration put some penalty on some shops, but we see that plastic is there everywhere. So how do we manage this? In fact, in NISER, we organize Swachhata Pakhwada, and since I teach environmental economics course, I had given assignment to our students, and I had asked them to look at the waste management in NISER. Similarly, we had gone to Darutheng village. Last year students had gone to Darutheng village. Darutheng village is the place where all the waste of Bhubaneswar city is dumped, and Darutheng village people have been protesting against this dumping outside. But municipal authority has been giving a lot of promises, but nothing is happening. So they are continuing to dump this. So the challenge comes how to segregate the waste. Okay? And if you can segregate the waste, then probably waste will be no more waste. It can be recycled, and that's the concept. Circular economy is getting popularity. So what is circular economy? Typically, in a linear economy, we discuss that. So something is produced and then consumed, and then it is thrown. So that goes as waste. But in a circular economy, we produce, use, reuse, and recycle. Okay? So then again, it comes into the production process. So for example, plastic. No, we produced plastic, we used it. Now, if we say that no, it is no more usable, then it goes to the factory again, and then that is used as again raw material. So again, it comes into the production process. So that's how that is the circular economy. But to achieve this aim of circular economy, the plastic has to be segregated. The waste has to be segregated, and it has been really a challenge. And so we will discuss how we can do this. Say, probably we don't actually think about the waste, and we think that okay, so we just used it and throw it, and then it goes to the waste collectors. They come and take it and they dump it somewhere. So in urban areas, I think we'll start with some of you actually that in urban areas when we live in cities, the space is limited. But let me share actually the experience like how can we segregate the waste. Even at my home, I segregate almost all waste, and the food waste I use as manure in my kitchen garden. Then newspaper, I directly take it to the covered wallas and sell it, get the money directly. And then plastics, I have just piled up all the plastic bottles. If you go to my home backside, all the plastic bottles are piled up, and polythenes, particularly the packaged polythenes, I use it for preparing saplings, okay, and plant it in somewhere. So I have stored all of them. But in a typical urban context, space is a problem. Suppose I segregate this waste. Now we need space. Now suppose someone is living in a two-story apartment, 2 BHK. Okay, you have very limited space. Now where will you keep all these things? Okay, even keeping newspaper is not possible. Old newspapers at your home is not possible because there is a very limited space. So you just throw it. Okay, and similarly, plastic. Suppose you say that okay, I will keep it in my home, and at the end of the month, I give it to the kawadiwalas. So again, it goes to the circular economy. So space becomes a problem, okay, and in say apartments, I don't think that we have really created any kind of facility where people can really keep their waste and then at the end of the month say we sell it. That is not happening. So, in fact, as per my information, I think as per the existing laws, all the big apartments uh, have as per the law, they should have uh, their own waste management plant, particularly for the sewage treatment and for the waste management also. So municipal authorities will not be responsible for the collection of the waste from such places. So they should do their own. But if you see the apartment, I don't think that any apartment has such kind of facilities. So these are the basically challenges, and uh, now we will listen to all of you actually. So why waste segregation is not happening? What are the challenges that we face? Since all of you stay in hostel, uh, you see that in even in NISER hostel, we don't segregate waste. We had started this initiative, but the waste segregation doesn't happen. So how? See, we are all educated people, right? MA, MPhil, PhD, all highly educated, but still the segregation is not happening. Even in urban areas also, you see that educated people, but the segregation doesn't happen. So these are behavioral challenges, right? So how can we do this waste segregation so that the plastic goes to the circular economy? It doesn't become the waste. Okay, so yeah, have you thought anything?
So,
Ankita?
when you said about the apartment thing, like recently where we live, they have circulated a circular, like kind of that we have to segregate the waste. The waste, like plastic bottles and all, would be going to one storage dustbin, and another, the renewable can be going into another thing. But then, sir, it's about
Biodegradable versus
yes,
non-biodegradable.
non-biodegradable.
Yeah.
But then, sir, again, it comes like for around 1 month, everybody in our apartment followed that. But then again, it comes to the mentality of the people, like who is going to segregate, who would separate, because we have to separate it in a house.
Yes.
Then we have to throw it to we have to give it to the BMC people. So like for the 1 month, they all followed, but then gradually as time went on, they were like, it's okay,
Chalta hai type.
chalta hai types. So.
But then again, BMC people did not do anything.
No, that is neither BMC people did anything. Even when secretaries told them to segregate, they are like, "Sir, itna mehnat kaun karega?" If they are taking, so we'll giving. So
Okay.
it's like.
No, see, all municipalities are trying to segregate waste. Even in Jakhna municipality, it's a small municipality, but no, if you see the vehicles that they carry every day in the morning, they have different compartments in that facility, and then so they basically aim to collect segregated waste, biodegradable, non-biodegradable, or wet and dry waste,
Yes.
then plastic and papers, like that. They have 4 compartments probably. But very few people really segregate. Okay, and but even I've heard in Bhubaneswar Municipal Corporation, sometimes the municipal people don't collect your waste if you have not segregated at some locations at least. Because 2 of our students were doing internship and they have interacted with the municipality people. So their aim is to ensure the segregation of waste. And uh, at Sainika School, I think there is a processing unit where temporary unit where they segregate all these plastic waste, and then biodegradable waste that becomes manure. There is a scheme called Mo Khata Yojana, and so the biodegradable waste is used for producing manure, and that is sold in the market. Plastics go to again the factories where it can be recycled, but the people usually don't cooperate. And Sarana, like, whatever will be your opinion, like, how do we ensure that suppose some people are very much say liberal, they say that municipality is taking, so we will not segregate, we'll just give it.
So maybe
What should we do to
we can implement
segregate?
some very strong like penalties over like some acts, like whatever.
No, but suppose if you impose penalty, I don't know how to do it. Suppose people will say that no, we will not give it to municipality, they will dump it somewhere. This may also
That
happen.
might happen, yes.
And for the city, you cannot put the CCTV camera. That can be done.
So one thing that can be done is, I don't know if that is viable or not, but instead of questioning like the use of plastic, we can reduce the production of plastic so that ultimately the problem can be solved.
Production, I don't know actually. No, can you really reduce the production? Say, plastics. When you go to market, how many of you carry a bag? And even if you carry a bag, even I'm saying on my own experience when I go to buy vegetables. Now we say that okay, so tomato. If you bring this tomato with other vegetables, it will be spoiled. So bring it in a carry bag separately. Then you are buying, say, green chili, and it will be mixed up with other vegetables. So you want to carry this separately in a separate polythene bag. I carry a big bag, but then again 2 polythenes have come, right? Like this, of course, we try to reuse those plastics for some other purpose, but then 2 plastic polythenes I have already carried, right? Similarly, go for fish, and then how to carry the fish, right? So you need a polythene bag, and then food, food package. You want to get dahi bara, aludam package, parcel to your home, and you carry in a polythene bag. Okay. And this polythene bag is even more dangerous because this has become waste. So this is wet now. So now whether you will put it in the dry waste or in the wet waste. No, because if you are carrying a curry in a polythene bag, so it is neither actually a dry waste, but it is not also wet waste completely. Okay, so you are confused actually where to put this plastic. So, so earlier days, I don't know whether you remember or you have seen this at all. For bringing oil, nowadays, we get oil and there's a pouch. 1 liter oil comes in, say, Freedom 1 liter or any other company. It comes in a polythene pouch, or you can buy bottles. But in old days, that used to come in a tin pack of 50 liter, and people would carry their can or glass bottles to bring 1 liter of oil. So absolutely there is no waste, right? It comes in a tin package of 50 liter, and then you bought 1 liter in your own can, and you are using it in cooking. But now for convenience, we have packaged it in 1 liter. It becomes very easy to bring it to your home. But then you generate a lot of, and imagine the polythene that carries oil. Now, where will you use it? Okay? Of course, it can be recycled. Okay? If you really segregate this and it is collected by someone. So, packaging, polythene is being used for packaging of a lot of things, and segregation becomes quite difficult. So, that's really you have some thoughts for the waste segregation? How do we really ensure, even in NISER campus or say in city context, how do we ensure the segregation of the waste?
Like all this waste segregation and all these things we have been discussing, and like all of us, like almost all of us know about the idea that we need to do all these things. But how I see this thing in an economy as part of the production and consumption system as an economy is that in this age of consumerism, we are suffering from commodity fetishism. Commodity fetishism is is Marxist terminology, which says that our social relation is defined by the economic relation of production and consumption. So, in this commodity fetishism, what we experience is that we miss some part of the production process. We need to understand the idea of like what is going on behind the production process. For example, when we are producing plastic, or what we are doing after consuming, after using the plastic, or whatever commodity it is. It can be this bottle, it can be this mobile, it can be this notebook. Okay, so what happens in commodity criticism is that we ignore that production process. We don't try to understand that production process. So in that, if we try to understand that production process, what Marx says is that then only we will get to know the value, actual value of the labor. In the contestation between capital and labor, while we are giving much more importance to capital, that is why this whole inequality thing is going on. Like wealth and incomes are getting concentrated. It's only because of that we are giving that much importance. We are thinking that capital is like contributing more to the production as compared to labor. So that can be linked to the environment also. So in this production process, in this idea of understanding the economy, where we are ignoring that much to the environment, how much environment is contributing to the production of any good, right? While we are using this pen or this mobile, anything else, we are like the way we have been trained in economics, particularly in mainstream economics, we are not taught that thing. So I see these things as a broader political thing, how like capitalist economy functions. So how like we have reached to this point that we need to consume more and more.
Yes.
Okay, the way like we are thinking about producing more and more, right?
Yeah.
We are not thinking about more about the redistribution. So, for example, if we are, so that is one of the things that's like how we are ignoring the environmental part. The way we are ignoring not ignoring, but we are underestimating the contribution of labor in a production process. We are completely ignoring the contribution of environment to the production process. Okay, that is part of the production, but after consumption also, what is happening to that product? For example, in this case of plastic, like the way you like in the beginning, we are not like concerned about what is happening to that thing after we use that thing. So that also comes under this circular thing, and that circular economy we have to understand. Okay, so that is the larger political scenario I can see when we are using more production, we are consuming more and more.
Okay, so again to respond to this, concern. See, the capitalist or say the market, we think that if market creates the problem, market also has a solution. Okay? To give an example, now suppose now they say that if it is packed in a polythene, we will charge 2 rupees extra, okay? And or say 5 rupees extra, and you use it. Suppose we are selling oil in a plastic pack pouch, and we charge 5 rupees extra for that packaging, and we say that okay, you take this oil, keep the oil in your home or use the oil, and you bring back the polythene to us. We'll return 5 rupees. Okay, so you got your money back, but it also ensured that you have become a responsible user of the plastic. So market can say that market has a solution also, right? And no, why I'm saying this, I have seen this in a ecotourism project in Kerala, that if you enter into that site, if you are carrying water bottle, you are allowed. You can carry water bottle into that destination, but they'll charge 20 rupees extra. Carry your water bottle, but has deposit 20 rupees in the main gate. But when you return, if you show that I have brought back the plastic, they will give you 20 rupees back. Otherwise, you lost that 20 rupees. So many people ensure that they bring back the plastic bottle and take back the 20 rupees. Similarly, home-fed milk packs, I think they are also doing this. I think they have not yet charged anything extra. So it's not that always you can blame the market. No, I equally understand your concern that market definitely is creating the problem, and but then market can argue that market also has a solution, right? And so you charge extra and then get it back and then process it. And look at also the packaging materials. So look at Amazon's packaging materials. Earlier it all used to be plastic, but now it is not all plastic. It is coming in a paper pouch, right? Many things are now coming in a paper pouch. So they have become little bit concerned also that so plastic pollution is increasing, and we need to change this packaging material, and now it has become paper. So if you throw it, it is not a problem. So to some extent, market can also solve this, but definitely not as all the way. And if you charge extra, people will also protest that the prices have gone up, and many people can't afford this. Even 5 rupees or 2 rupees, is quite expensive for some people. So, so that's why, yes, of course, that debate will always continue. That the market by design, has the problem, right? So, yes,
Like at the theoretical level, no, like for example, whether we are translating our thoughts into action, or like whatever we are studying in our textbook to action. Okay. That's a different thing. But if there is problem in the thought itself, if there is problem in the theory itself, that we are being trained, right? So in that thought process also, we need to internalize these things. That is what my argument was to that is what the argument I was making.
Yes.
If we start thinking on do it, like for example, if we internalize that environmental issues in the study itself, in the production process and the consumption process, or the relationship between the production and consumption, okay, then that environmental thing will come into our mind.
Yes.
So at theoretical level, I was saying that, but translating that into our action, that is a different debate altogether. How it can be done at policy level and
yes.
whatever.
No, in environmental economics, we basically teach what are the causes of market failure. Here, market failure is basically the production of and management of the waste, and the market fails to manage all these things. And when we try to explain what are the causes of market failure, we say that information asymmetry is one problem. So here, actually, this is information asymmetry is the big issue. Now, why I'm saying this? See, you might have seen many people carry hot tea in a polythene and they drink it. It is poisonous. No? In fact, it is carcinogenic, because when you carry any hot thing in a plastic, and that too is single-use plastic, in a black polythene, you might have seen people carry, or in a home-fed milk pouch, they carry the tea and they drink it. It is simply poisonous because it is carcinogenic. When any hard material comes in contact with plastics, it becomes really carcinogenic. So it can cause really a lot of diseases. But people are not aware of this, so they don't mind actually don't drink tea. But once you become careful, informed of this, you probably will never do this. And so when I was coming to start this discussion, I was thinking, the best lifestyle would be that everyone should carry their cutlery in their bag. So carry a glass, steel glass, because why? You can drink water, you can take tea, okay, anything, and you wash it. And I have seen some people now who have become conscious of all these things, they do it. They carry their glass always and a spoon in your bag. Wherever you go, if you carry these two things, a spoon and a glass, then you don't have to use plastics, because for tea or for water, you can use this glass, steel glass, or anything which is convenient. And nowadays people are using the thermoplastic also, so that can be used for all purposes also. So multi-purposes glasses, cups are coming, so you can use it. So you want to say something else?
So like whenever we are discussing all these things also, okay, how we are using plastic and how we need to shift from the biodegradable things to use. We need to like take care of the things. Who are these people? Who are the consumers of these products? Right. For example, in my village, like we also take parcel from
Yes.
home to our like agricultural field, but we
Yes.
don't use plastic. Okay.
Yes.
We are carrying all food. So, and I'm not telling about the number of people. We are India.
Yes.
Okay. So those who are living in rural areas, those who are in the agricultural field, those who are in the construction worker side. So these farmers and laborers, workers are the India.
Yeah.
So it is us, those like I can say I cannot divide it as like rural and urban classification. I don't believe in that. But still, it is like
No, that
the kind of
depends.
examples that we are giving here. No, it is very urban centric thing.
Yes.
Okay,
No,
it's
but
not
the
rural
problem is
centric.
also populating to rural areas. In fact, again, while traveling from Kerala to Odisha, I have seen a lot of Malayali people would be packaging the food in a banana leaf, very beautifully, okay, and then they would open and eat. So some people may think, oh, this is not a very smart way of carrying things, but that is the best actually way, because it's organic, and if you can throw it in banana leaf, you just throw it anywhere, it gets decomposed. And for that, I have been telling that Mother Nature tells that if I have produced something, I can manage it, including all human beings, animals. Mother Nature has produced. Our mother has produced, but it's a process. We say panchabhuta, okay? And if you die, within couple of days, you will all be part of this panchabhuta, right? Soil and air, everything. So any natural product, you just throw anywhere, it gets decomposed. But if we have produced something, the human beings, then Mother Nature cannot process this. Okay? So we have to manage this, and for that we have to be really sensitive. And so, how do we bring this sensitivity to the people? And see, nowadays, uh, as per the guideline of the Supreme Court of India, environmental science has become a compulsory subject in schools and colleges. But I know that no one takes that course very seriously, isn't it? So then, how do we do this? See, the objective of introducing environmental science or environmental studies, starting from schools to colleges, is that we will sensitize our children who will be the future citizens, and that's the objective. But then students think that, oh, this is not actually going to help me in future, because the mark that I get and the teacher who teaches this course is not useful, relevant for my career. It will not come in the entrance. Okay, so why to waste my time for this? So that's how people don't take this course very seriously, and many times many schools and colleges even don't offer this, or they don't teach this, but they give full mark in these courses. So then the whole purpose of education is defeated, right? See the objective behind the Supreme Court guidelines, but ultimately, we don't see the course and no impact on the children. See, in fact, the purpose of having this discussion is also that at least if we can be a little bit sensitive, even say 5-10 people, then that will also be a big thing, right? So, Lakshman, do you have any idea?
First, I will actually tell something, the sentence you made, then I will talk on the
Yeah.
But actually, sometimes the problem, market does not have solution, the problem it creates sometimes, and there are many issues. For example, growing inequality. Market has an inherent bias for the advanced infrastructure area. That if an area is infrastructure well, capital will come to that area. Then the a richer area will again get richer and the poor will remain poor. Inequality will further increase. It will not reduce inequality. There are many other examples which actually we said. One is plastic production. I will tell in this in international political agenda that this idea about the international cooperation to reduce pollution and sustainable development, even the 2030 agenda of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Many scientists from America and Germany, they claim that plastic pollution is more dangerous than anything else because they are irreversible pollution. Other things can be reversed. But if plastic pollution is so important, there is no special goal in Sustainable Development Goal. Even in the Stockholm Research Center, they have defined 9 planetary boundaries, which consist of climate change and biodiversity, but there is no word called plastic pollution. Under Sustainable Development Goal 14, they have mentioned it is related to marine plastics. It is not plastics. So first you have to understand, when you are defining that you must reduce plastic pollution in marine and sea and oceans, these are linked to recycling, cleaning up, and improving waste management system. But nobody talks about reduction of plastics. This is a politics you have to understand. Even for advanced countries, those who are producing plastics, now they are suggesting democratic practices, that you mobilize the community in democratic country and you create awareness in the community that you should use plastic like this, you should recycle this. But why don't you talk about absolute reduction of plastics? Those have already like 80% of the plastic generation is actually in the industrialized countries. And second thing is that the readers are also sometimes misdirected by the media and the journalistic writings, that they are only focusing on this recycle, waste management and these things, but they are also not focusing on this fact, that why should plastic should enter into the environment. This is first. Forget about recycling and all these things. This is one dimension. And second thing is actually, as I said, the political agenda, like if you compare democratic regime or democratic forms or structures compared to non-democratic forms or absolutist countries, democratic structure actually follows their ideas. Whatever they implement, you immediately, because you have a top-down as well as bottom. From bottom there is pressure on the central government, and from central government people will also follow this. But in other form of government or structure, you won't find this. If the absolutist is okay, he can immediately ban plastic within a minute. But in democratic structure, it will take time. But the government can impose fine on people, and also people can complain government these things.
So yeah, you have rightly pointed out that we have not really imposed any ban on the production.
Yes.
We have imposed ban only on the use.
Consumption.
But no, the producers will say that since you are consuming, we are producing. Who is telling you to use it? No, don't use it, so we will not sell it to you. You are demanding, that's why you are producing. This is the argument. No, but I understand. Even sometimes I also think that way, that why don't we stop the production completely? The single-use plastic, let us completely stop the production. But is it possible? Because the capitalistic lobby will continue. There are no.
Yes.
In fact, now people are thinking that okay, so per capita production of plastic is 6.5 kg, but by 2060 it will be 3 times of this. So that means more plastic means more business. Now this are you involve communities to collect this, segregate this, and give it to us. We will again reuse it. Okay, so this becomes a business. So there is that, oh, this is multi-trillion-dollar industry. Plastic recycling itself is big. So plastic production is one business. Now plastic recycling is another business. So this is a capitalistic agenda, we can say. Okay? But then we also have to think that we all human beings give a lot of importance to the convenience. Now we should have some alternative material which also helps us to bring this convenience, or you sacrifice your convenience, okay? And we say that no, I will carry my own things, okay? And I will, like for example, sometimes I go to bring dahivar aludam and I carry a tiffin, 2 or 3 tiffin boxes. One I carry aludam and other I carry this dahivara. So if everyone does this, the problem is solved. But will everyone do this? I don't know. It is really inconvenient because you had gone to the market and you have not carried your utensils, and then how will you carry your dahivar aludam or any other food material, right?
So look at the data recently published by World Bank. World Bank is actually telling that 93% of the waste related to plastics, they're actually thrown in open air in lower income countries, lower democracies,
Yes.
compared to only 2% in higher income countries. And they are suggesting solution is recycling. You recycle waste.
And they also says that the recycling will happen in the developing countries.
Yes. So this democratic institution at international level, whether it is United Nations Environmental Program or Sustainable Development Goal or Millennium or this what is the Stockholm, they are actually also biased towards these things.
So with that, do you have any thoughts on this? How do we handle this? Being from God's own country, how do people in God's own? But I am aware that in Kerala, Kudumastris and local governments are being trained actually how to manage this waste. Yeah, please share your thoughts.
Kerala nowadays they are like collecting segregated waste. So like food waste and degradable waste, we reuse it. We make it as manure. But they are collecting it like we have to wash this used plastic.
Okay.
Polythene. We have to dry it and we have to keep it.
Okay.
But they are collecting it separately. But I don't think they are like recycling it properly. They collect it from us, but they are not recycling. So, like few months ago, there is a issue in Kochi, Brahmapuram. There is a waste plant.
Yeah, they have a
There is a
plant.
fire.
Yeah, there was a fire in the waste dump site,
Yes.
right? Yeah, there was an article in Hindu. Professor Kulapari Balakrishnan had also written. Yeah. So what was that issue exactly?
There's a place in Kochi where they keep all these segregated plastic waste.
Okay.
So there was fire on that, and it kept on like they couldn't.
That was the fire.
Yes.
Okay.
It was there for many days, and so they collect it, but they are not properly.
So the processing is not happening, although they are collecting the waste. So Asutosh, do you have some thoughts?
So we had studied some methods on how to recycle plastic. Like we can use plastics in road construction or in landfills and construct buildings on top of that.
No, that is all possible. No, we can reuse or recycle it, but first of all, the segregation should happen. No, the plastics.
Even in NISER, like
Exactly, in NISER it is not happening, right?
The
So-
segregation, there is only one way: impose fines.
Impose fines.
Otherwise, people will not be. They will
But
not.
do you think that imposing fine is also that easy? Look at the advertisement on wearing helmets. Traffic police will catch you and impose a penalty, then only we will wear a helmet. That is not happening. You know that if you don't wear a helmet, you will die. If you face an accident.
this
Yeah,
way,
yes.
it's kind of
Yes, sir, but it still happens. Like to some degree, we still use helmet, right? I know it doesn't happen over here in Jatni, but in Bhubaneswar, in most of the places, you have to wear helmet.
Yes. So you think that imposition
It's
of
not a perfect solution, but to some degree, it will work. Because, like Ankita said, after 1 month or 2 months, people will stop bothering. Who has time to separate all these things?
No, but for that again, let me also bring some behavioral economics insights. If you follow the Swachh Bharat campaign, to some extent, it has really benefited. Why? where the campaign is still going on.
Yes.
So that bad habits die hard, right? It is said. So to change these bad habits, you have to go on pursuing the people again and again. So municipal authorities say instead of just telling once, they have to tell every month. Okay, that you have to segregate. If you don't segregate, we will not collect your waste, and we will impose heavy penalty. Or some kind of penalty structure, whether it is in terms of cash or in terms of other penalty, like your power will be disconnected, your water supply will be disconnected. These are heavy penalties, right? Even if not directly paying cash, but if you suppose stop the public utility supply to these people, I think they will be quite worried, right? So so probably both carrot and stick policy needs to be adopted. Okay, you have some mechanism for the segregation of the waste, and at the same time, if people who don't segregate, there should be a penalty on them, right? Yes, Abhishek. So, do you have any thought? How do you solve this waste menace?
I think the bold steps must be taken. Like while looking at the big problem in mid 20th century, we have the problem of population explosion. In case of China, China took many bold steps. Like institute, they made one child policy. So now we can in Indian case also, like in 1952 we approached a clinical approach to family planning. And in 1977 during the time of emergency, the government forcefully do sterilization process. And during that time only the natural growth rate was lowest in India. So we can see if we are going to take bold steps, then there will be some decline, which was not good. But I think there should be bold steps by the government, like making more penalty, not a small number, but there should be the penalty should be in high number. And
No, but if you take the example of population policy, I don't fully agree with you, because in India the population policy was very liberal. Although in fact India is one of the foremost countries to announce the population policy, but we were never strict except that emergency period. In India, we have always followed the approach: education is the best contraceptive. You just educate the people; they will think whether they will marry or not, and if they marry, they will think whether I should have kids or not. If at all kids, whether 1 or 1.5 or 2 or 3 or 2.5, like this. So that way, you see, actually, no state has really been very serious about imposing the population policy. Or, of course, in some ways, actually, we have given incentive, like for single girl children, incentives for admission and so on. Similarly, some states are probably nowadays imposing penalty that if you have more kids, you cannot participate in the panchayat election. Such kind of restrictions have been imposed by state, but by and large, we have not done that, and we have seen that through education, people have changed the number of kids.
Even sir, a bold step and democracy is quite impressive.
Yes, so in democracy, imposing something, people will have their opinion, right, and people will protest. So that bold step, I don't know. So I think that way, penalty probably can be one way. Like for not wearing helmet, there is a penalty. So if you don't segregate the waste, probably there can be penalty. And but again, see, this penalty will be left to the local governments. But if you look at the functioning of the local governments, they are very much scared of imposing anything. Why? They lose the votes because they live closer to the people. The ward member or the councillor, he is living closer to the people. Now, if he imposes a penalty every day morning, he will see the face. See, chief minister can announce this, but chief minister doesn't live closer to the people. But the councillor or the ward member, they live closer to the people. So when you are asking him to collect the penalty, he is quite scared of. That's why you will see that in case of local governments, it becomes very difficult unless people themselves come and say that okay, we sit together, now we decided in the community or in our ward that no one will throw waste, or everyone has to segregate waste. Then only you can live in this community. So through community involvement, actually, we can solve this problem, and through awareness. But imposition, penalty. So after, you do the discussion and try to educate people, and after that, if somebody doesn't follow, then you impose a penalty. I think we have to do quite a lot, to educate our people. Then only I think we can
So, but I believe that nowadays education awareness, these are some things which are still not working.
Not well.
Like in case of tobacco only, if we take, in the tobacco packets it's written it's death.
Yes.
But still, even though people know that if you eat and after a few days you're going to suffer and die in some hospital, but still they would continue in taking it. Even if there's a ban on this, they would just struggle to get that. So like awareness,
but then people will say that,
education-
no, who are you to impose on me? I
Yes,
decide to die.
that is the problem. That is
Right?
where the
Democracy.
mentality it comes into the action. That it's
Yes.
about the mentality of the people.
Yeah.
We need
Until
to bring behavioral changes, and penalty is the only way out.
Okay. So Kausami, do you have any thoughts since you live in Bangalore and Kolkata? So what is your experience, management of waste in Bangalore?
In Kolkata, we have a strict, like the people from municipal corporation, they come and they actually take waste segregated.
Okay.
So
There is 100% waste segregation?
Yes, and not
Oh.
100%, but basically it was like 2-3 months back they started this. So they gave 2 baskets to everybody for wet waste and for dry waste.
So municipality gives bucket to the people. Okay.
So one is green and one is blue. They have given us as well.
Okay.
So it becomes easier. You can throw in one bucket and then another bucket, and you just carry that bucket to the municipal corporation and dump it there. So in case you do not segregate it, you have to, the person who takes the waste, he actually scrutinizes. So in case you do not do it, you have to pick it by yourself and put it in the right thing.
Okay.
So people do not want to do that. Why will they touch something dirty? So they actually segregate it from their household owner. So it's not like that I live in a very educated society. From beside my place, like my house, there's this basti. Like they are not very uneducated, very educated, and like they sell fish and vegetables like that. But even they do that because they don't want to dirty their hands, or they have got 2 baskets. They are very happy with that. So they actually tend to separate waste, and in case you don't, you have to stand there and segregate it. So in our case, this was actually followed for 3 months, and it is being followed.
Okay, so again, that's so stronger policy, policy and enforcement. So once you make a policy, it's not that just announce the policy and after that you never see what happens, right? So follow up, educate and enforce, and then people will fall in line. Okay, so because if they don't take the waste, then where will you throw? So next day you will be in line. Yeah. Sauradeep, what is your observation?
Sir, my observation is that in my area, so these things have also started, but they don't tell us this, don't scrutinize us, because we don't have to it's not strong policies there, because people, if they don't segregate, then they don't tell us to pick it up or do things like that. So it's not so strong in my area, but yes, definitely government has taken given 2 baskets, and we need to throw the waste, dry waste and wet waste. And I think for a proper segregation, there should be certain campaigns which government should, and it's not about we did for one time we did, and after 2 months we are not doing it. It should be after 1 month or every month a process, so that everyone understands the thing. And from the past year, 1 year I'm living in Bangalore, so the situation in Bangalore, I will say that it's way more better than Kolkata, because the streets.
So share your experience of paying. You are living in a paying guest house. So how do you manage the waste there?
Exactly. Sir, so there is also 2 dustbins, waste and a dry, and
Okay, so municipality has given you 2 waste bins.
in each floor, there are 2 dustbins. So
Okay. No, who has given? You have bought it on your own?
no,
Municipality will have given. Okay.
has given.
Mhm.
So there also it's strictly followed, and I think in Bangalore maybe comparison, if I compare a bit, so in they use more of paper bags.
Okay.
They use more of paper comparison. In Kolkata, you will see that maximum it is plastic. They are using plastic at every place, every time. But in Bangalore, if you see, they use plastic bags. Any Zomato or Swiggy people, they use plastics. Plastics, or in Kolkata. So they mainly use plastics. Many people use, but in Bangalore they give in the paper.
Okay.
So like everything, like if I go to a shop, like normal shop also, not like I have to go in a five-star restaurant or not like that. If I go to buy some biscuits or something like that, anything, I understand the weight things we can't bring in like plastic, but they use paper bags, so that is a good thing. Like I feel, and that's the thing. So they are like, and it's really like it's really clean. The city is like clean. Like they have like imposed, like I think they impose fines also, because I don't think like can be so clean. And also like uh, this is one more like good thing that like there in Bangalore, no people can like smoke also in any public areas,
places.
because they impose huge like fines. So that is also a very good thing for the environment as well. And yes, sir, so that's the thing, like it's very good there.
Yeah, so again comes back to like mixed. It's mixture of awareness, education,
Yes.
good policy, and enforcement also. So it depends on the interest of the municipal authority, that how seriously they take all these things.
And so, like the thing is that, like as you said, that like all the kind of peoples, they are eagerly doing that. Like it's not like that. He or she is not educated, so he will not do. But they are eagerly doing that. I will do.
No, once you develop the habit, definitely it can. See, within NISER campus, if you go to our health center, they have beautiful, kept 5, waste bins, separate, color coded, and all the waste are segregated properly. And then a Sonic Clean agency comes and picks up all the waste, separately. So it is possible within the same campus. There is a place, where segregation is happening. So these people are, like, is the boss of that area, or the establishment is very strict. That you have to do this. So training also is important. People should be aware that how do I handle this waste, and so in NISER or in other educational institutes, I would say that probably when the new students come, we can train them that okay, don't throw waste. I'm a little bit worried because many times people throw their plastic bottles behind my house. Okay, in my garden. In fact, last weekend I collected almost one full bucket of plastic bottles. Okay, they drink, juice and throw the waste bottle behind my, in my kitchen garden. So so I think awareness, education, and even in the production process also, how to internalize all those cost theorem, because figure van taxes and subsidies, those instruments can be used. And I think for single-use plastic, I think a production ban would be probably more helpful, right?
Sir, and simultaneously, the quality of cloth bags should be improved because it is very weak comparative to polythene.
No, if you pay good money, you can buy. In fact,
sir, like other day I was buying some fruits.
Okay.
He gave me in cloth bag and
Okay. That was not of good quality.
sir, and all my mangoes.
problem face
No, that is what they are telling, that don't expect the vendor to give you a polythene. Rather, you carry your own bag and buy all the vegetables.
Yes, that is true. But in some places, the vendor also gives you in a cloth bag,
So
right?
like nowadays in Bhubaneswar, it has started that they are discarding the polythene bags and they are starting to use
So,
this.
but they're using low
bags.
quality cloth bag.
Yes, thing is that.
Sir, another suggestion internationally, if your theme is beat pollution, plastic pollution,
so there should be a special SDG.
yes, you redefine. It is not marine plastic. You should redefine plastic impact on human health and also the increasing production of plastic. Otherwise, the industrial elites are taking your words in other way. It is for marine plastic. It is not about reducing the plastic production. So you should keep a separate sustainable development goal or any other goals for plastic only, because plastic pollution is irreversible and it is more dangerous than other pollutions.
So I think we'll close this discussion, but I hope you will spread this word. You will discuss with your friends. Now, plastic is a big problem. Not only plastic, and overall environmental issues. See, the whole purpose of having this World Environment Day is this: that more awareness, more discussion happens. And today, even in our Vigyan Bhavan, Prime Minister Modi and the Environment Minister, they are also discussing. They are launching this campaign, Life for Environment. So if you become sensitive to Mother Nature, we can probably bring a lot of good changes. Thank you so much. We shall close the discussion.